Yo, what is going on, guys? So update 21 has already dropped, which means it is time for us to reevaluate the place of every tower in the meta. And especially so because there were some massive balance changes. So in this video I'm going to be recreating a tier list for CHIMPS. And basically re-ranking every single tower here, and it is going to be somewhat relative to my previous tier list for update 20. So and again, the usual rules apply. So it's gonna be for upgrades 3 to 5, like in the entire upgrade path. So the first 2 upgrades don't count for the rankings. And just because, you know, these like icons are showing the tier 5s doesn't mean the tower in question is being ranked for its tier 5. It could be ranked for its tier 3, tier 4, or its tier 5, but not necessarily. And again, it's gonna be for CHIMPS mode, so it's, you know, we're not gonna rank farms or anything that doesn't apply to CHIMPS. I'll explain like the rules further down in the description. So to start, we will have, as always, we have Alchemist in SS, and some of the towers about to rank like will have received no nerf, but they will still like go down, or will have received no buff and will still move up. And really, the ranking depends on like its relative place in the meta. So if you know, something else got stronger that's outclassing the tower in question, then it's gonna go down even if it didn't get nerfed. So hopefully that makes some sense. So we're starting with Alchemist, which is SS as usual. It did get a pretty significant nerf, I think. Now it's a lot more difficult to afford stronger stimulant before round 40, which is mildly annoying, but you know, it is what it is. Okay, so to S tier, we're gonna have Moab Glue as usual, and we're gonna have Moab Mauler this time because yeah, moving up Moab Mauler because like a lot of other things are getting weaker, right? So the power of Moab Mauler is now standing out even more than before. And also a lot of its potential was somewhat unrecognized previously that people are just now discovering, so that is the reason why it's being moved up. I mean, yeah, it kind of speaks for itself. It can pretty easily like border through expert maps like Quad or, you know, Bloody Puddles. So that's pretty much why it deserves its ranking. And then we have Downdrafts, which still S, even though it got nerfed. Not this update, but the previous one. And we have Sabotage in S as always. That is pretty straightforward. And for S minus, we have Moab Press, and this guy did get nerfed, but I don't think it's too noticeable. I haven't been playing very much at all, but I mean, I didn't notice it, so yeah, it's not a big deal. Also, I'm gonna rename these categories. We're still going to have the usual, or is it the Grandmaster and Avatar. And I'm tempted to demote the Apache Prime because its movement speed got nerfed, and yeah, that makes it a little bit weaker, I think. But for now, I think I will just let it be. And we still have Overclock. Overclock got nerfed pretty significantly, but I don't think A makes too much sense. And looking at A, we have the usual Perma Charge, Flagship. The biggest one also got nerfed. Its attack rate got a slight nerf, and also an accuracy nerf. But I don't think it's enough to demote it down one tier, so I'll just let it be. We still want Shattering Shells here. And Sun Avatar. Okay, Sun Avatar. And I'm still pretty confident that Monkey Intelligence is in A. And I know Carpet of Spikes got a buff, but it's still gonna be ranked for Spike Storm. Yeah, we have pretty much everything except for the heroes, so we're moving on to A-. And as always, we have Balloon Impact. Of course, we're gonna have Sky Shredder. We're gonna have Never Miss. Yeah, just to clarify, it's not being ranked for Big Plane or Spectre, but rather it's being ranked for Never Miss. Concoction, and this is because of its synergy with Perma Spike that it's ranked so high. Okay, one tower I would like to move up to A actually is the Spike Balls, which are actually very good. Okay, we also want main Moab, we want Impale. And actually the Impale path got buffed this update, but it's not enough to move it up to A, obviously, so still A-. And I think we're gonna move down tax zone to B. And I mean, this shouldn't be a surprise. Overclock, like I said, was nerfed quite a lot, and especially it doesn't really affect towers that already cost more than 40,000, but for towers that cost under, right, like tax zone, which costs less than 40,000, and it's tier 5, it's gonna get nerfed significantly. So that's definitely gonna bump it down one tier, the OC nerf, because it's a cheap tier 5 that used to benefit heavily from Overclock, and now that it got nerfed, not gonna be so great anymore. So we're gonna move down tax zone. We're gonna still have recursive and more glaives here. Still Maelstrom. And we want Glue Hose. Just to clarify, it's being ranked for Glue Hose, not Blue Storm or Blue Strike, but rather Glue Hose, which is obviously the strongest of the 3 upgrades. Okay, we still have Arcane Spike. Now the Archmage did get an indirect buff, but didn't seem like it did anything. It's still pretty trash against Super Ceramics, so you know, it's kind of not a very good tower. And okay, one tower I would like to move up is the Dark Knight. So it used to be in B, but I'm gonna move it up to A or A-. Because due to the Pierce buff, which was actually a few updates ago, but people, you know, didn't really realize its increased potential until recently. Okay, we're starting to see that it's actually arguably a better mid-game tower than even the Sun Avatar due to its cheaper price. So it's kind of like a mini Sun Avatar, if you will, in its current state. So it's definitely pretty good. We're still gonna keep Reactor in B. Okay, now let's see what we have in B minus. Okay, I'm gonna move down Crossbow Master because it also got indirectly nerfed from the Overclock nerf. Again, it's a tier 5 tower that costs below 40,000. So the Overclock rework heavily nerfs this Crossbow Master because it used to depend heavily on Overclock. So the usual, I'm gonna put let's see, Super Brittle, Comanche Commander, and what's the other one? Artillery Battery. So this is being ranked for artillery, not for pop and all. Obviously, I think artillery is the better power, but pop and all is actually somewhat underrated, so you could make a case for ranking it based on pop and all, but we're sticking with artillery battery for the rank here. And I guess Absolute Zero is not the worst thing. Actually, it's not even being ranked for Absolute Zero, it's being ranked for Arctic Wind, which is actually very good. Arctic Wind is actually quite good for super ceramic control and for building platform on water. So arguably it could be in B, really, but I'm gonna leave it here because this is where I had it before. And then we're gonna have the Bloom Solver, and then the same thing for C as before. Okay, I forgot Ball Lightning. The C is gonna remain the same as before, so we still have Infernal. Dragon's Breath. And yeah. Okay, and C minus, it's gonna be, you know, same as before. I know the Seeky Bomb, I think, got a buff, but I'm not sure if that's gonna boost its ranking. I haven't done too much testing with it, but I don't think it's gonna be enough to boost it up one rank. Let's put this guy here and this guy here, and then for D, it's gonna be the Elite Sniper and the DMA. Okay, and the biggest like rank change like ever is gonna be Prince of Darkness, which I believe should be in A tier. Right, it used to be considered the worst tower in the game, and now it's very, very strong. It's actually one of the strongest towers for single path maps. So it's very strong on single path maps. I'm not sure about its strength on multi-path because the AI is a little bit weird, and for me, on Muddy Puddles I had to use Chinook, which was unfortunate. Like, it didn't spawn anything unless it was very close to the track for some reason, so you know, the AI is a little bit weird, so that's why it's not in like S- or S tier or something like that, because it's a little bit less viable on like multipath maps, but still now it's a very strong tower, so A tier. And obviously these guys will be in F tier for obvious reasons. Like, yeah, I mean, you can't really make income with the Trade Empire in Chimps mode, and either with the Monkey Town. Okay, we've ranked all the towers. So now we are ranking the heroes. And we're gonna start with Etienne, which is comfortably an S tier, in my opinion. I also believe Pat is now back in S tier, or S minus tier, due to the recent level 3 duration buff. I think they reverted it back to pre-nerf. It might actually even be 1 second extra longer for the level 3, which is good to see, and gives it a much better early to mid game. So that's a good buff there. Now Quincy is gonna go down to A tier, and I think Striker is still A tier, and Brickle is A tier. Of course, she gotten so many nerfs, and now she's getting outclassed by Pat at some in some cases. So of course he's gonna go down, and I mean Oben is kind of becoming obsolete these days, so A minus, and then the usual heroes here in A minus. Both Dora and Churchill got XP buffs, but I'm not gonna promote Adora because the XP curve buff helps Churchill more than it does Adora, since you can sacrifice your towers anyways. And then Green Ben is just here in C minus. Really his only use is with Perma Spike, but Perma Spike strategies are starting to become obsolete and not really too great anymore, so C minus for Ben. And so this is the tier list, and I'm gonna take some time to rearrange all the towers so that they're in the proper order, and then I'm gonna show the final product. And just one more thing I wanted to change is moving the top path village back up to B. I think it should still stay in B because it's very useful for discounting Moab Maulers. So this is pretty much the tier list.